Hello all. In this section, we are going to study about the functions. Okay, functions in Python. Okay, so why there is functions? What is functions? And you might have heard about functions in any other programming languages as well, right? In C, suppose, right? So functions is nothing but a group of statements we put together so that we can reuse those, right? A set of instructions used to perform certain task, a certain simple and related action. We put them together so that we can use that particular action again and again to perform at many places, right, without a repetition of the code. So in software engineering, the very first important thing to note here is we want to avoid the repetition, right, rewriting the code. Okay, so functions provides a better modularity in the program. Okay, it is a reusability concept it brings to us to existing code, right? So there are different types of functions. We have seen some of the functions earlier, like built-in functions, right? That's where we have started. The very first function we have seen is a built-in function called print, correct? So that is the built-in function. Okay, we have written here, so I'll carry these notes for your quick reference, so that will be useful. Here you will see that, yeah, I'll just keep it in front of your eyes. So these are something called built-in functions, right? So print, type, help, input, and so on. So these are built-in functions. There is something called object function. I'm sure you recall now. So for list we have append, for string we have capitalize, for tuple we have index and count, for dictionary we have values, keys. So these are some of the functions belongs to the objects in Python, right? So those are called object functions, correct? And the next thing is something called module functions. Okay, I'm sure you guys got some functions in your mind now. Okay, if not, see, math we have used. Inside math we know that there is something called sqrt, there is something called float, pow, right? Those are the functions which belongs to a particular module, right? So for example, random module, right? We have seen random and we have used choice, right? Choice is a function that belongs to a random module. Okay, so those are called module functions. And the last category we want to discuss in today's session is user defined functions. Okay, we can write our own functions, our own functionalities, right, the way we have. Okay, inside math module, there is something called sqrt, right? So you can use sqrt and you perform the action, right? Obviously sqrt is not a built-in function, and neither I have defined this is not a user defined function, but it belongs to module called math. Okay, so there is another way to import. Okay, earlier if you recall, we have done import something like this. Okay, import math. So the statement which I have commented right now is used to import the entire library. So you will get all the functions which you want to access, and you can access using math and dot operator, math dot floor, right? So you can do that, right? And similarly you can use so many other functions as well, right? Power, POW, and so on. So this is one of the way. The alternate way is from math module we can specifically import what we are actually looking for, right? So this is a specific thing. This is a subset where I'm just importing the sqrt, not so many other functions, right? This is the better way of importing. If you are looking for only one or two functions, we can go ahead and just import those functions from the library. Okay, for example, pow. Okay, now I can use pow as well. Okay, but if you try and use, let's say, floor, okay, so this won't be available because we haven't imported this particular function yet. Okay, but yes, even we can't do math dot floor because we haven't imported math either, right? So that's the way. Okay, so how to use it? You have to again import that particular function as well. So these are called module functions. Okay, so out of these three types of which we have discussed, built-in and object functions and the module functions, now the fourth type is user defined functions. Okay, so we can write our own functions, right? The new keyword which I am going to show you is def. Excuse me. Yeah, def. So def is to define a function. Okay, def is a keyword which is available, which we can use to define a particular function. Okay, for example, I'll write a simple function here and I have to write a colon. Hello is the name of a function, so you can choose any name whatever you want to choose, but the rules applies to the name. Okay, we have to keep in mind that we are using a particular name with some rules we have to keep in mind. For example, the rules whatever we used for variable names, we have to use the same rules here for the function name. So meaning function name is case sensitive. Function name cannot start with a number, a numeric digit. Function name can have numbers, but it should not have any special characters except underscore. Okay, underscore is allowed here, right? So those are the similar rules we have to follow. And now let's say I will say that, okay, welcome to your function, your own function. Okay, print end of function. Okay, suppose I have just run this and nothing happened. Okay, because nothing happens, now interpreter understands that there is some function which is used here, and now we don't have to really write these two lines again and again, right? For suppose for your company, the new employee joins and there is some welcome greeting message, for example, right? So we don't have to do this once again, type this whole thing again and again, right? So we might have this bigger code here, right? Greeting from XYZ Corporation. Okay, so in this case what happens is this is the hello and I just use it and I'm done. And how many number of times I want to use, I can just do it, right? If I call 2 times, I get this 6 lines printed. So that's how we can achieve the reusability. We don't have to really write this code again and again. Okay, moreover, we have a flexibility to pass some argument as well. Okay, let's say I use hello and name. Okay, now suppose I write Akash and I can see that hello Akash, greeting from XYZ Corporation, welcome to your own function, end of the function, right? So this means you can use this for anybody. Okay, and here I will say John. Okay, and absolutely right. So the variable name what we are passing here, right? So this is how we pass the variables, right? And we have seen similar things for even a basic built-in functions like print. We have seen some of the variables. So here pretty simple, one variable it accepts, so we have to pass one. Okay, the moment I call now suppose something like this, it will say error, because now the hello function is not the hello function which we used earlier, but the hello function now accept one argument, okay, that is named as name. Okay, so I have to pass some argument here. So not necessarily I have to pass a string. Okay, I can pass 5, doesn't matter, right? It just takes one argument and put that into the variable called name. Okay, and remember Python is not where we have to specify the type of a variable. So we don't have any type checks here. So whatever argument you pass, that argument is just stored into a name, okay, inside a function, and that is used here. Okay, so suppose now you write another function. A quick example I'll take here. Suppose you want to just multiply by 5, okay, or I will say add 5 and say hello. Okay, now we are typing here hello 5, it says hello 10. Okay, and now if you want to do hello 25, it does hello 30, right? And that's okay, maybe, right? But now suppose by any chance you type Akash and this time it gives error because you are using name in the function where you are adding something to the name, right? You have assumption that the name is always going to be a digit, okay, but that's not true, right? So because there is no user there is no check on the variable what is user passing, right? So maybe you have to use some kind of a check here. If is instance name comma integer or float, okay, if that is the case we can probably do this, okay, otherwise we will simply print whatever is there. Can we do something like this? Okay, hello name. So this time let me fix what is the error. Yeah, here the colon is missing, correct? So this time see hello 10 it worked, hello 25 it worked, hello Akash it worked, right? Because for hello Akash now the else part is getting executed. So just to summarize the entire statements, so all the statements, these statements are part of your function which is reusable, okay? So that's how it works. Now let's say I will also write some more function. Let's say new function, okay? So we can just have whatever names you want, def new function, and here suppose name and age, I want to get two arguments, print name welcome, print your age is age, print thank you, okay, something like this. Suppose I have a new function here and I can simply pass Akash and it gives me error because it expects two arguments and it is saying that new function missing one required positional argument. Remember, the name and age is a positional argument, okay? Here name is a positional argument because the why it is positional argument, because whatever you pass on the first position that is taken inside a name here, that is also first argument in the function definition, okay? We call this line number 29 is a function call and line number 28, right, this is called a function definition. So we have to specify two, okay? And now look at this, here you will see that the function is getting executed with these two arguments and name is assigned with Akash. So welcome Akash, your age is 27, thank you, okay? Now as I said, these are positional argument, what you are actually passing doesn't matter, okay? So whatever you are passing is not considered, nothing is checked here, okay? Look at this, welcome 27, your age is Akash. This is absolutely misleading thing, right? But as I said, there is no type check, okay, whatever you pass. So you have to be clear about how this usage would be, okay? So for that there is something called a doc string, because that's where we have seen that for a built-in function we used to get some help page, right? So here if you put anything in the double quote, okay, inside a function, the very first the string or some text inside a double quote is used as a help page for this function. Let me explain you a little bit more about this, okay? The first of all I want to say the brief description about this function, okay? Description: this is a sample test function for learning basics, okay? Then usage, I have to give the usage, right? So a function, new function, and I say that string and integer, okay? So that this is for easy to understand. And what it returns? Nothing, all right? So here if you see Now if I run, there is no change. Okay, nothing has changed as such, but what happens is, if the moment I see a new function, I get this help page, right? Do you remember we have also checked help for built-in functions, and you see that this is how some kind of a functional basic help of a function is provided, isn't it? So here also we have a facility to provide such a description, such short note, so that the user can understand, right, what this function is for, right? So that user will not be getting confused whether I should pass first argument as a age or first argument as a name, okay? So or as a string. So this is something called the text written in the double quote is called a doc string. Okay, so doc string. Okay, so doc string means a group of or some kind of a statement, right? Group of text messages or lines which is placed into the function very first argument, first place in the function. Okay, so this doc string you can use and you can use for getting it as a help page. Okay, so just let me add one more small topic here. So suppose a single quote, we were using single quote for your string, okay, Python. So there is also a way we can write the same thing using double quote, and there is no difference. Now alternative S1, S2, S3, you can use triple quote, and this is also same thing, okay, and S4 you can just use a single quote 3 times. Okay, so all these 4 statements does exactly same thing in Python. There is no difference. Okay, so let me help you understand where we would like to probably have such string. Okay, so for example, this year revenue for AWS is $34 billion. Okay, suppose this is just an example, right? $billion. So I want to make this the $1 billion into a double quote, right? And it unfortunately gives me error. So in this scenario, probably I will go for a combination of these 2 different quotes. I will put everything into a single quote except the yes. Okay, so the yes except the $34 billion, right? So that value is, I wanted to highlight it, or I want to put it into a double quote. Okay, and for that matter, sometimes you may want to write let's say Facebook's turnover this year is I don't know, I'm just taking some number. So suppose I want to write something like this, right? This is also misleading. The apostrophe is considered as a quote. So in that case, probably I will go for double quote. Okay, this is just a small topic. I thought of explaining you the quotes. Okay, working with quotes. So this triple quote generally we use whenever there is a long string or multiple strings, multiple lines into a string. So we use triple quote. However, even a triple quote without assigning this to something is called as this is a comment in your program, a multi-line comment. Okay, end of comments. Okay, so suppose I is equal to 10, print a new program and print I plus 3. So this in this cell 40, so this particular piece of code that is written in red color is a multi-line comment. Okay, this is working as a multi-line comment wherever you put into a program. But now let's go back to our original function definition. So in the definition function, very first such multi-line comment is called or referred as a doc string. Okay, because doc string will be a documentation for a particular function or a module, right? For example, now if I call this particular function, right, so I don't know what I have to give. Okay, suppose I give John and 23 or 25, this works because we know, right? But for the new user, the user may not know it, right? So for user to get the help, we can just do as we have done earlier, shift tab. Okay, and now this started giving you the definition, right, the basic description which is written, correct? So that's what the best part of it, that's why the docstring is useful. So docstring can also be accessed using double underscore doc double underscore. Okay, these are some of the special attributes for the functions, right? So as we have seen earlier, so for a lot of objects we see this double underscore stuff, right? So we will be discussing this later on, but for now it is just for your understanding. The double underscore gives you a doc string for your function. Okay, I hope this is clear, and now here with this you understand there is something called positional arguments, and we have to give those many positional arguments. And if at all you try to give the third, it says that it takes 2 positional arguments but 3 were given. That is also not acceptable. Okay, but this could be sometimes a inconvenience. Okay, so for that matter what we can do is, let's say we will use some other function, right? So suppose I have name, and now the name of the candidate I will get, right? But the other details I don't know. Somebody might give two details, somebody might give 3 or 4, so we don't know, right? In that case there is something called star. Okay, we use the star. Okay, and now let's print what it gives in the details, right? So nothing happened. Let's try and write Akash, and here I give 26, 25, and then maybe a city here, right? So maybe Mumbai. Okay, so suppose if we do this, okay, now what happens is inside a function you can see that name is printed as the first argument, the second and third both are combined together and printed as a tuple. So that means this star is not a multiplication operator here, neither it is a pointer. If you are relating to C programming, it is not a pointer as well, but star indicates to the function that it is a collection of all other arguments. Those are the positional arguments, right? The best part of this is, now suppose you write another details like phone number. Okay, still it works, right? So that means the very first positional argument is important. This is exactly matched against name, and all others are clubbed together, right, and put as a details name. Okay, so for this particular function, instead of using details, we should use some other meaningful name, right? ARGS. So usually you will see the star args. Okay, star args indicates that these are the arguments which is the collected together into args, ARGS. Okay, because these are the arguments. Okay, so now the flexibility what you have is, you can call this function even with a single argument, and that works. Okay, but you can't call this function without argument, because it expects at least one, because the one which is the name, that is the positional argument. Okay, so there is something called default arguments as well. Okay, suppose I have name and age is there, right, 26. If you provide, that's okay, because if the students are from the same class, probably all the ages are in the same, that is the same, right, that is 26. And suppose I use this kind of a function here. Okay, print name, print age, print args, and now see what happened. Yeah, def keyword is missing. Okay, now if you see Akash, then 25, then let's say Pune. Okay, so this works, right? So how it is working is, Akash is now name is Akash, and then age is by default 26, but now if you provide something, it is taken as the 25. okay. If you don't provide, so this the age is taken as the second argument. That is a problem sometimes, right? So here we have a luxury to specify the numbers, okay. Now when you want to actually so okay, I will explain you just minute. I will make it little simpler and I will come to the rules which we have to follow, right? So now age is not defined. I have to actually, can I try this? No, right? No, I thought I can pass along with the keyword. Okay, so Akash and 37. So 37 is stored into age. Okay, age is the default argument. If I don't provide anything, it will be taken as 26. Okay, but there is a provision, we can provide some other values. If it is provided, it will use the second argument. If not, then it will be use the second the default argument, default value, that is 26. Okay, so I think I should be able to use this the way I was trying. Age equal to 9. Why? Yeah, it is working. So why it didn't work earlier? Okay, anyway, so if I call this function with age equal to 9, this way it works. Okay, now just imagine that you have, let's say, one more argument, okay, city, and city suppose by default is Mumbai, and now if you run, okay, and here if you print city, here it is printing Mumbai, here it is 37 Mumbai, here 26 Mumbai, here 9 Mumbai, okay. But here I have a provision to provide, let's say, another city. It's New Delhi, right? So the other best part is, this is not like a positional argument where we have to maintain a sequence. So suppose here if you provide city first and then age, still it works properly, right? Because now city, the age is not taken as New Delhi, but city is city only, right? You put either at the second position or the third position, that doesn't matter, right? So this is what the point I was trying to make here. So point here is, we can pass the arguments with the keyword. Okay, so keyword means this is not a Python keyword, but just a name, identifier, right? So which we use while defining a function. So those keywords we can use while passing the arguments at the time of calling. Okay, if you recall, there is a help page we have checked into for a print, and you see that sep is the keyword, right? And the keyword argument, and end is another keyword argument. If we give something, that is taken, and if we don't give, so the default value is taken /n, that is a new line character. Okay, so that works with the built-in functions. Similarly, we have some functions here, so where we can pass the argument as the some value to the function call. Okay, so these are called keyword arguments. Now to summarize, we discussed about a positional argument, we discussed about a collection of arguments, all the positional argument, that is using star args, and the third type we have seen is the keyword arguments. Okay, so there is also a provision to define a function and get all the values into args, and another variable we can use, let's say kw args with a double star. Okay, and let's see what happens, right, how this works. Okay, now suppose I pass function here. Now I say Akash, and other details I just provide like this. Okay, age equal to 10, city equal to Mumbai. So I don't have any details, right, any such variables, but there is a provision now, whatever is the keyword arguments passed, those are captured together into kw args, and whatever are the positional arguments, those are collected inside args, right? So this is how this star and star star kw arcs, star arcs and star star kw arcs, these are commonly used arguments in functions. Okay, no different, no complicated thing, just to make it simple. There is something called positional argument, there is something called keyword arguments. Positional arguments, you have to make sure that the position matters here. So if the first argument is name, you have to always pass name. Okay, so the sequence matters. All the positional arguments are clubbed together and stored into star arcs. Okay, if we have a star arcs in a function definition, and all non-positional argument, or we call them as a keyword arguments, are put together into kw arcs. Okay, so that's simple. And this is how you will see, and with some more practice, maybe as and when we come across, I will try to explain again. Keep your if you just try a little bit more practice, it is simple, where you will understand that the positional arguments and keyword arguments, how we handle in Python. Okay, so yeah, this is about the basic, where we can pass one argument, two argument, any number of argument, there is no limit. If you have a specific arguments like type, keyword argument or non-keyword arguments, those are also can be collected in star arcs and star star kw arcs. Okay, so the last topic inside a function, there are so many things to discuss in the function. For now I will just make it simple. Here suppose I will pass, let's say, name and age, and here suppose print hello, let's say name. Okay, and age, I want to just add some value to age and print it. Okay, just 24 I am adding, or 18 I add. Okay, so what went wrong here? Name, not dot, but it is comma. Okay, so this is a simple thing. Now I want to just call, there is no difference, nothing new I am doing right now, but yes, let's hold on and I will explain you. Suppose this is what the function call we are trying to make. Okay, now I want to get something back from the function. So function has done manipulation and we want to return something back. Okay, and that is the new age I want to return. Okay, and age plus, let's say, 2. So this is something I want to return, and that return value is printed here, right, automatically. Now let's understand how this works. Okay, suppose that function is returning something, that is the result we are getting out of this function. That result can be stored into a variable, and that variable we can print, and that variable holds whatever is returned by a function. Okay, so we use a return keyword for returning something from the function. We can return one argument, two arguments, or any kind of data, right, whatever you have, right. Not necessarily you have to use age here, so you can simply say you can print hello, right, and that's okay. So there is nothing, no problem. Now the result is having hello. So remember, the execution will print this because there are print statements into the function, but result is having hello because hello is returned by a function. Okay, so every function can return something for us, so that after the function call, if I have some manipulations or some value I want to use in the calling block, so we can use that returned value and we can use in our program. Okay, and that can be returned with the help of a return keyword. Okay, so this is about return. Now we have so many things to explore, but just to quickly summarize, there is also provision to return two values. Okay, and now if you call this function and check what happens, so the result outcome is now a tuple of two values, hello and 6. So this is how, if you have more values, you can just pass them. We can return multiple values, but remember, only one return gets executed. Okay, if you have two returns, doesn't matter, but it executes only the first return. The moment it encounters it return, so it doesn't care about the further statements. You are all done here, right? So function execution is terminated at this moment and the value 8 is returned. Okay, you can have multiple return statements, but sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense. It depends on, now suppose if we have some condition check, if age is greater than 18, then you probably want to return 8, otherwise you want to just return hello and 6. Okay, so such kind of statements you can have multiple return, but one return executed, the second return won't execute. Okay, so that's how we can return one value or multiple values or any type of object for that matter. Here you can probably return 8 and 6, so that kind of list you can return. Okay, suppose if it is greater than 18, 19, you see that the list is returned from the function. Okay, so this is how we can return. We have flexibility to return so many things, any data, any object we can return from a function. Okay, so this is about basics on function. In the next session we are going to discuss a little more hands-on with some of the other functions, and then we will discuss about the closures and the lambda functions, some more little advanced concepts associated with function. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next session.